spreading smiles is all about, making an impact in the world and helping people do better at their own lives and enabling them to spread smiles further, which is the topic of today's show, right? So I decided to spread smiles via the gift of education. Okay. So I'm someone who has myself been very highly educated ever since I was a very small kid. Okay. I was from a very middle class family, but my parents made sure that I received the best quality of education, be it my school, be it my coaching for my entrance exams. I was, by God's grace, I was talented and hardworking enough to crack the JEE examination with rank 1 and get admission into the prestigious IIT Bombay, which is like a dream for every student in India. I completed my graduation from there. And once I was in IIT, I was faced with a dilemma. Okay. So there's a thing in IITs that once you get into an IIT, everyone expects you to do 2 or 3 things. Okay. They expect you to either maybe do a corporate job, probably outside India, or maybe even in India. And apart from that, they expect you to probably go for some research. Or maybe if you start a company, you're expected to start something which is a bit more enterprise, a bit more, something which is enterprise or corporate oriented. I myself was faced with such choices when I was a student at IITB. And okay, so I think the link of the Facebook has been shared. I'll just share it. Yeah. So I was faced with the choice of deciding whether I want to, go for a traditional career in a corporate side, or should I do something which is a bit more impactful. Okay. And when I was, when I topped the JEE examination and I gained a bit of fame because of it, there were a lot of students who asked me for a lot of things, how to prepare for your exams and how to become a better student, some specific tips for the JEE examination and all of those things, right? And I did enjoy all of those things. They were great. And I really liked helping students, right? So for example, a lot of people who are viewing this video, they are themselves students, right? They're school students. And I was myself a school student at some point. And I was lucky enough. I was, I had the blessings enough of God that I was able to do well in my examinations. So I really liked helping those students with their examination, with their studies. And I was slowly building an audience out of it. At some point I had around 1 lakh or 2 lakh students following my content online, when I was helping them with their studies. And at that point, I was at a, crossroad. I had to decide that whether I want to, pursue a traditional career, which usually is expected from someone from an IIT, or whether I want to continue on this path, because this was taking a really big form. And I could have, decided ki, education mein kuch bada impact karte hain, right? Versus becoming a cog in the corporate world. And at that point, I decided, what, I should go with what my heart says, with what I feel is more important, what I feel is more impactful. And that was to spread smiles via education. Okay. So right now, I run a education company called AcadBoost Technologies, which started in the way which I just described, that I was helping students with their studies and I was gathering an online audience on YouTube, on Facebook, on Quora, and all of these platforms. And students were seeking advice from me. I launched a few courses for preparation of exams. Then, it brought in certain revenue. And then I launched some more courses. And all of these things took place. It became a flywheel. And today we are doing really solid. 2022 has been really harsh for a lot of companies in the education sector. But for us, luckily, it's been really well. We have grown this year compared to last year, which is not the case for most of EdTech. And I think that has happened because of our core belief that we should spread smiles. We should help the most number of people get impacted via education. All right. So I'll tell you why I took this decision, that why I decided to pursue a career in education, in the education technology world, instead of, the traditional path that someone from a technical institute would follow. The first reason was that if I decided to, I just want to become a cog in the corporate world, then I would just be a piece of the puzzle. Okay, so if you join a very big company like Google or Facebook, because most people who have, who are from IITB, CSE, they would probably do something like that. Okay. And the problem which I saw in that is that, nowadays everyone and their mom and everyone is working in such a company nowadays. And then it's like, what's the impact that you're creating? Okay, even if you are not present, then someone else would be hired, and there's no impact which I saw. I'm not saying that those jobs are not important. I'm not saying that they are lesser people. I'm not saying any of that. But I just didn't see the output of, just I just didn't see the point of pursuing something which anyone else can. I wanted to do something different. Maybe it was because I had a chip on my shoulder because of the rank which I had gotten in my JEE examination. But I had that thing in me कि यार कुछ तो अलग करना है, right? And that is why I decided कि, what, I want to step into the education world. Okay. So part of it was because I already had an impact in that. I already had a lot of people who were viewing my content online, who were, interacting with me and who were finding what I do useful. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the audience here as well, they are, somehow subscribed to my channel, or they are, watching our blogs, or they are subscribed to some of our course, something they are doing. So I really like the idea that no matter which city I go in, no matter which place, no matter which school, there will be someone in that school, there will be someone in that college, there will be someone in that city who has been positively impacted by what I did. It would not be possible in a traditional career. So I think education is a device through which you can spread a lot of smiles in a very positive manner. Okay. So I'll just talk about a bit of what I usually do and what are some of the things we are working on to make sure that there are more people who are impacted. There are more people who can benefit from education. So I personally am a very big proponent of, means I really support the idea that the most impactful thing that someone can do for a child, or if you're a parent, if you are someone who is a bit grown up, and the most impactful thing which you can do for a person is to make sure that they're educated well. Why? I will tell you why. It's because, first of all, you can make better decisions. Second, you can help others take better decisions. So it's not just you're affecting one person. Okay. If you're helping someone get educated, you are helping their entire family, and you're helping everyone who interacts with them. Okay. So for example, we have 4 or 5 divisions. We have a JEE preparation division. We have a NEET preparation division. We have a college, upskilling division. We have a class 9, 10th division. So if someone from the JEE division becomes an IITian, he will inspire maybe 50 or 100 different people to do well in their career. He or she will inspire maybe, if they start doing something like what I do, then they will be inspiring lakhs of people. So there's a chain reaction which is happening here, and the level of impact can be very huge, especially if we talk about a developing country like India. So what happens is that India is not a country which has the economic potential like that of China, or like that of USA, or like that of even smaller countries, smaller in a geographical sense, smaller in a population sense, like maybe Germany or France. We are nowhere near them. Why? Because I think we lack some very basic things. And if we work on those things, I think we can be a very huge force, not just for Asia, but for the entire world. Okay. I think if every person in India, if every child in India is educated, okay, if every person from, so I'm not even talking about every child. I'm saying that if let's say, if there's a village of 1,000 people, even 10 people, even 10 children in that village, if they study to a decent level, I think that itself is a very huge impact, because those 10 people will inspire 100 people to do better. If those 10 people are doing well, then their entire families, and a family in the rural side can be of 10 people. Okay. If you include uncles, aunties, this, that, children. So 10 people are impacted. Every single person you can impact via education. So this is why I believe that if you can impact the world via education, I think that's the biggest impact you can have. And for this reason, we do a lot of different things that a lot of companies don't. Okay. I'm not trying to make this a competition, but I always had this belief at myself and for my company AcadBoost, that education should not be pursued purely as a business. Yes, you need to do business to survive, obviously, but there's a lot of things that you can do which don't necessarily require you to spend or earn money. Okay. So for example, we release a lot of content which is free for our students, and anyone can access them. You don't have to pay us in any way. In fact, we take care of those expenses which are, so if you run an online platform, there's a lot of expenses which are there, right? The server cost, content creation cost, we bear all of them, right? So that more people who don't have the access, they can take advantage of those things. We also provide scholarships. So last year we provided a scholarship of rupees 2 lakh to around 10 people, right? And this is it. I think this should be done. People who are more fortunate, people who have more resources, people who have been impacted in a financial way, in a positive financial way, I think they should do a bit of charity specifically in education, so that more people can be, so that there's the chain. I was talking about the chain reaction earlier, right? I think that can be initiated in this way, because I have helped those 10 students study better. Okay. Now, even if one of them does well in their life, he or she will also be inspired that, 10 लोगों की help करनी है. I think that is something which more of us can try to do. Okay. Another thing which I'd like to talk about is that how are students like you, because the viewership here is probably school students, right? How can you guys positively influence, not just I'm talking about education, but overall, how can you do better? I would say one thing which I really urge everyone in their formative years to do is to really try to do well in your studies. Okay. And I'm not saying this because I'm in the tech industry. I'm not saying this because of that. It's because my own life has been changed massively, simply because I was well in my studies. India is a country where there's a way of getting out of the normal situation and put yourself as an elite. That is where education, in a lot of countries, is not possible. In a lot of countries, there are no such exams like IIT JEE, or there are no exams like these where you can give those exams and you can become a big person. In a lot of those places, you are gatekept. Okay. You need to have certain connections, you need to be rich, you need to be powerful to gain access to a lot of different positions. In some way, in India, there are ways in which you don't need that. Anyone who can, even if you are someone with no connections, you're someone who is very poor, even if you are like that, you can give the JEE examination and you can do well in that. You can give your board examinations, you can do well in that, and you can get a very good career for yourself. Okay. So I would urge everyone who is watching this, who's a school student, to please do well in their studies. Trust me, it is the single most impactful thing you can do for yourself, for your families, because education not only makes us more aware, not only does it make our decision making sense better, but it also helps us in financial ways. It also helps us in having a positive impact on the world. Okay. So I urge everyone to please study well. It really helped me transform my own life, and we are doing it. We are helping others transform their lives as well. We are what we are doing because we strongly believe this mission is a very noble one. Okay. Like I talked about, I had a lot of choices, and I still do have a lot of choices. I'm only 23 years old right now. Some people tell me that, you can start a company in the software world, or maybe something in marketing, or something in AI, or all of these things. And yes, they are very good fields to be in. Yes, they are very interesting fields. I still read about them just for the sake of knowledge. But the reason this is the profession which I choose is because I think that let's say you build a very good email software. Okay. So you build something like MailChimp or something like that. That is great. There's a lot of money in that, and you can probably do a lot of good for the world with that kind of money. Yes. But I don't think that the story of my life, which has been so far, that, he came from very humble beginnings, and then he did well in his exams, and now he's doing others do well in their exams. I don't think that story would sound that good to me. Like if I had to look back after maybe 50, 60 years, and I had to think, what did you do? I would not like to think of myself that, I ran I created some email software or some marketing software or some. I don't want to do that. But if I could say to myself after those 50 years that, you were able to impact the lives of 1 crore students or 10 crore students, I think that would be big, and that is something that would give me a lot of satisfaction. And that is the message which I would like to give to everyone listening as well, that please try to think beyond yourself. Try to think at least your community level. You should at least think, how can I impact everyone around me positively? First, start with yourself. How can you impact yourself positively? How can you get in a better position? And I think a better education, a better studies pattern, I think doing well academically, that is one of the most impactful things you can do for yourself at your age. Because you are in school right now, right? What can you do in school? You cannot start a business, or you cannot get a job in school unless you're like a very exceptional person. So studying is something which you can do to impact yourself. And then you should think of impacting those immediately around you, your family, your friends, your teachers, your elders, your maybe anyone around you who you think needs help, how can you help them? Okay, this can be financial as well. You can try to get a good job, you can get into a good college, you can help them with their studies, something like that. Then think how you can help your community. Okay, community means your, maybe your city, maybe your school, maybe your college, okay, whatever it is. Then think of country, how you can impact the country, how you can impact not just your city, not just people around you, not just your school or your immediate fraternity. Think of how you can impact the entire world. And after that, you should think of the entire country. And then the last step is impacting the world, how you can go global and how your missions can impact the entire world. That is the stage which we are looking for. We have done a very good work in India. I know a lot of people in India are really benefited from what I've been doing over the last 4 or 5 years. Now I want this impact to go global. We are constantly looking forward ki how the content which we post, how the courses that we create, how the notes that we create, how can we create products and services, and overall ways in which we can impact the world. Okay, so I think I would like to end this talk now. And that's my message to everyone, that spreading smiles is a wonderful mission. And one of the best ways to spread smiles is via education. And that is the gift that we are trying to give to everyone. And that is the gift that I expect that at least some of you will give to the world in the coming years when you guys grow up. Thank you for listening.